Well, we have another candidate here for the BC elections, and this is Amandeep Singh for Abbotsford South riding. Now, Amandeep is standing there as an independent. And what does that mean to you? Does that give you more voice or what?
Yes, it does. I believe that by being an independent candidate, I can very much say that I stand for the people because all the issues that people have, the working people, I've got the same issues, and couldn't say the same thing if I was with a political party. So being independent is very special, and because I represent the community of Abbotsford South.
Okay, now, MD, you're a family of two children, younger children.
Yes.
And you're a kinesiologist.
Yes.
Been working in the Abbotsford area for a few years.
Yes.
Now, you seem to come with passion. You want to make a difference. So, as an independent voice means that if David Eby was your party, he would say everybody has to vote exactly the same. But as an independent, you say, I represent Abbotsford South, and these are the issues of the farmer. And so you get that independent voice, right?
Yes.
Okay. What are your passions? Like you've told me, perhaps farming or food sources, housing. What do you feel are your strong... You've been out there door knocking. You've been talking to people.
Yes.
What are your constituents you're writing? What are their needs? And how can you solve them?
Well, yes, definitely door knocking has brought up many things, but, people are struggling to put food on the table. They're believing that the cost of groceries are very high. And, people definitely want the cost of groceries to come down. That's a big thing on people's minds.
So how is the Fraser Valley doing for its food production? Are we producing most of our food, or are we importing most of our food?
We're not producing nearly as much food that we need to in the Fraser Valley. We're importing way too much, and not just the Fraser Valley, but British Columbia. And we need to do a very, very, very big job to produce food locally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what can we do to solve that problem?
Well, we can get the government, who has not been investing and supporting farmers, to invest with the farming agriculture industry and invest into the innovation and technology sector for farming, which in other countries they have done, and it's very successful. And going that route, they can incorporate technologies that will help farmers to utilize different farming methods so that they can grow food here pretty much all year round, which the food that they now import, they'll be able to, a majority of it, they will be able to grow locally. So, that will reduce the importing costs of bringing that stuff over from, wherever the other part of the world where they're importing.
So would you say, what would you think about the carbon tax on the natural gas to heat the barns and heat the greenhouses?
Well, farmers have it as it's really bad and really challenging as it is. Any type of a carbon tax or additional tax or taxes should be pretty much eliminated for farmers, because it's putting a burden on them, and then it ultimately, not just the farmers but everybody else in the community has to pay for that tax as well. So we definitely don't need any more taxes.
So on the 30-30 plan, where we have a 30% reduction in emissions, how does that work for farmers? Is that a good thing or what?
No, it's not a good thing, because when you're trying to produce something, or anything that's growing requires carbon. If we're going to reduce the carbon, that's actually going to eliminate the production, and it's going to reduce stuff, and therefore increasing costs and decrease the profit margin for farmers.
Okay. So Andy, housing is a concern for you, the cost of housing. You're seeing a lot of the people you knock on the door going, well, what, a third are planning to move right now. All the children are planning to move. They can't live here.
It's definitely not affordable for anybody to live in BC anymore. It's very challenging, very challenging.
So what can we do to make a difference?
Well, the government needs to step in here. We need to allocate, land, which would be, not just for apartment buildings or condos, but also for single families, low-income families, or based on families' income, make it affordable to their financial situation, and not just making buildings and houses for a profit.
Right.
Yeah, they also need to be able to remove all the red tape and the any type of approvals that we're getting including to for developers to to develop and divide up land. So that takes a heck of a lot of time, drives up the cost, which in turn the person that's purchasing or building, they ultimately have to, the developer pays for, and then therefore the customer consumer pays for. So we need to definitely bring that down.
Okay. So in summary, you're saying try and reduce some of the bureaucratic tape.
Yes.
Red tape.
Yes.
Maybe even look at the building code to see if it's getting out of hand.
Yes.
And a large portion of the construction is bureaucracy.
That's correct.
Okay. And and then try and make it easier to open up more lands for development.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely what's needed and more, but that would be a good starting point.
Okay. Okay. Now, MD, do you have a third passion that is important to you want to make a difference on?
Yes, I really feel that the healthcare situation in British Columbia, the healthcare workers, is something that needs to be addressed. I've spoken with several healthcare workers in the last several throughout the year, and I found that healthcare workers they're overburdened in their work fields in the hospitals or in their care homes, and that the government has tried to bring in foreign trained nurses from abroad, and that's very, very expensive. And for that cost, you can, for a third or a fourth of that fraction of the cost, you can train nurses here, or we can implement other methods here where we can have education for healthcare workers, which can be bridged from even the secondary level, grade 11 or 12, and then they could carry on with only a few years after into post-secondary and be complete the program and get into the workforce. But the way things are right now, the hospitals are understaffed, the staff are overburdened with more duties as a result, and as a result of that, we see the patients are, they're lining up, and the wait times are very, very high. If we look at other models or in other parts of the world, especially the Middle East, it's totally the opposite. They have a very, very good healthcare system, a very good model, and you can see a specialist within a few days, within the week. We need to incorporate some of these methods because they're very, very successful in other parts of the world, and we're being very, very left behind in this aspect.
Okay, well, there's obviously a major need. A lot of people have died waiting for their surgeries.
Yes.
Waiting list is crazy long. And I guess the best we can say is that the current system is of total mismanagement.
That's an understatement, but yes, it is mismanagement. It is mismanagement because if people are having to wait, close to 24 hours or whatever the wait time is in emergencies, we need to be doing this a lot better. We need to be able to incorporate or get foreign trained professionals to be work ready in the workforce. We need to be able to get the young people in British Columbia to be able to get into the workforce. We just need to be able to update our current system so that can happen, because the people in turn are having to wait and they're suffering as a result.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a skill testing question in regard to finance and trying to keep a balanced budget. 1 + 1 is
2.
Hallelujah, we got a winner. But in today's world, it's like it's equal to 7. The logic, the common sense does not appear to be there. So from what I'm understanding, we may have more hospital administrators, one for every 1,400 patients, the highest in the world, and the least amount of doctors, right? So the focus is on administration, not on the actual care.
You're absolutely correct. It is not. I think I was reading that number the other day, and I believe, like in British Columbia, it's close to over 60, I believe, and administrators, hospital administrators, and their combined income is over 22 million approximately, which is astronomical. All that money, all that administration, and we can't run hospitals properly. You would think you would with that many administrators, but like they say, there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. So that's the
Well,
problem.
I do say that you would think if you doubled your administration, things would go twice as fast. But I think the reality is if you double your administration, it goes 10 times slower and it'll take 10 times longer, 10 times more money, right?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. We thought that it could be for the better, but it is not the case. This definitely
Right.
has to change.
Well, if government is run like a business, then you do have to be streamlined.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank Amdeep for putting his soul and his heart into this election with strong passion and wanting to give that independent voice to Abbotsford South and to be able to know the issues, work hard on the solutions, and be accountable to the people that he's solving the problems.
I appreciate, Bill, the time you've given me on your show, and I'm working hard for the people of Abbotsford South and the people of British Columbia. It's just such an honor to represent the people in my community, and hopefully, together we can work together and try to turn the situation around because the solutions are right there. They just never been addressed to benefit the public, the community. Often the solutions are benefiting the people in charge, the government, and that's not helping the community at all. So please support your local candidates, support the independent candidates in your community, and that way we can really make a difference and serve the community to overcome these challenges that we have, which are very, very simple to overcome. And please support your local candidates. Thank you very much. My name is Amandeep Singh, independent MLA candidate for Abbotsford South. I am running for you, the people, the community of Abbotsford South. So please, with your support, which is very, it's needed for me to help address our needs in the community. Looking for your support. You can vote now up to the 19th. So please vote now and help your independent candidates, such as myself, win in your constituency so that we can overcome all the obstacles which we are facing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.